Ford Mustang. What do you think? I like it.
Oh, excuse me. Would you not do that?
Oh.
Is this your son?
Yes, it is.
Would you ask him to keep his hands off the paintwork?
No. My advice is lose the inline six and that idiotic 3-speed, shorten the wheelbase, somehow.
Dad.
But even then, I'll still choose a Chevy Chevelle.
That's a fucking terrible car.
This is a story from 1963. This is the time when Ford's car sales are falling day by day. In simple words, Ford makes 100 cars a day, but only 20 or 25 of them are sold. Seeing this problem, Henry Ford, the owner of Ford, stopped the production of his cars and told all the employees that if this continues, our company will soon go bankrupt and our factories will be shut down. So if you all want to keep your jobs, then bring me an idea so that I can bring the falling sales up again. And if you do not have any idea, then you do not even deserve to work at Ford. Had himself an idea that changed the world. Now to save his job, the company's vice president, whose name is Lee, tells Henry Ford that if we want to increase the sales of our cars, then we have to think like Ferrari, not Ford. In today's time, Ferrari participates in various racing competitions and also wins them. And whoever buys Ferrari's cars considers himself a part of that victory. Lee says that if we put Ford's cars in the race and win the competition, then there will be a new identity of Ford among people, and today's young generation will buy our cars. But here, the company's president does not like Lee's idea, and he says that it will take another 10 years to make a team like Ferrari. On this, Lee tells everyone that the Ferrari car company is completely bankrupt, and if Henry Ford wants, he can buy the Ferrari car company. Now, Henry Ford liked Lee's idea a lot, and to finalize this deal, he sent his team to Italy. Ford's team reached Italy and met Enzo Ferrari, the owner of Ferrari. Here, Lee told Enzo Ferrari that our boss, Mr. Henry Ford, wants to buy 90% of your company shares. If you agree to this deal, then Ford will have control over Ferrari and your company will do what our boss wants. Now, everything was going well, but then Lee said something that spoiled the whole thing. Lee says that, according to the deal, Ford will also have control over Ferrari's racing team and Ford will decide whether Ferrari will take part in the Le Mans race every year or not. The Le Mans race is a special racing competition that runs continuously for 24 hours. In simple words, the Le Mans race is the World Cup of car racing, and Ferrari is the champion of this World Cup. Now, when Enzo Ferrari hears that he is not allowed to participate in Le Mans, he becomes very angry at this deal. He tells Ford's team that you go back to your ugly factories and make your ugly cars and tell your fat boss, Henry Ford, that his brain is like a pig and he can never be as great as his father. Go back to your big ugly factory making its ugly little cars. After so much insult, Ford's team comes back to their country and tells Henry Ford everything. Hearing all this, Henry Ford gets very angry and he decides that now Ford will also compete in the Le Mans race and take revenge for his insult by defeating Ferrari. In the next scene, we see a man sitting in a doctor's clinic. Now, before moving forward in the story, know a little about this man. His name is Carroll Shelby, who used to be a car racer. In the whole of America, Shelby is the only person who has won the 24-hour Le Mans race. For now, Shelby has come to the doctor for his checkup because he has a heart disease and he cannot do anything that increases his heartbeat. Because of his disease, Shelby said goodbye to racing years ago, and now he is the owner of a car company named Shelby Americans. This company designs sports cars and also organizes small racing competitions. After this, we see our main man, whose name is Ken Miles. He is a retired Army officer, a mechanical engineer, and a car racer. Ken has a younger son and his wife in his family. He runs a garage where he repairs and modifies cars. Now, know these two things about Ken. First, Ken is very fond of car racing, or you can say that car racing is Ken Miles's life. Come on. And the second thing is that he is a little angry and rude, but he has a good heart. Then we see Lee, who comes to meet Carroll Shelby. He tells Shelby that now Ford is also going to take part in the Le Mans race, and the owner of the company wants you to drive our cars in this race because you are the only racer in America who has won the Le Mans race. Here, Shelby tells Lee that he said goodbye to racing years ago. He tells Lee that winning the Le Mans race is not an easy game. For this, he would need a car that is not only fast but also light, and which has the ability to run continuously for 24 hours. Lee tells Shelby that the owners of Ford want to win this race anyway, even if they have to spend so much money for it. Shelby says that he will design a racing car for Ford, but he will not drive it because he has a heart problem. But to do this, he has a racer who has never lost a race in his life, and this racer was none other than Ken Miles. Actually, Ken and Shelby are old friends because they used to race together, and now there is no one better than Ken Miles for this job. After this, Shelby meets Ken and tells him about Ford's Le Mans project. He tells him that in 90 days, we have to design a car that can beat Ferrari in the Le Mans race. First, Ken refuses to do this because he believes that Ford's employees are very selfish, bad people who only want to make their boss happy and they will never let them work as they want. But when Shelby tells him that he will get $200 per day for this job, Ken agrees. Actually, his financial condition is not good, and his garage is also locked because he did not pay the bank's loan on time. To run his house, Ken left racing, which he loved more than his life. So when Shelby offers him this job, he agrees. Come take a look. Listen to my speech. The next day, Shelby and Ken reach the airport of Los Angeles, and here Ken tests Ford's new car, GT40. After a while of testing, Ken sees a lot of flaws in this car. He tells Shelby that this car has no power like a race car. Moreover, this car is so heavy that right when it touches the speed of 200, the car drives the driver. Days went by, and with the help of Ken, Shelby's team removed a lot of flaws in this car. Ken was constantly testing this car, and this car was also getting better day by day. To increase the power of the car, he put a new engine in it, and to reduce the weight, he made many parts of the car out of aluminum. Le Mans race. Ken will not drive Ford's cars because he is not a Ford-type driver. He has a lot of anger in him, and he has no control over his tongue. If he says anything wrong in the future, the company's reputation will be ruined. On this, Shelby tells him that Ken has worked very hard to make this car, and there is no better person for this job than him. Shelby says that driving a racing car is not an easy game, and only those who understand the car can do this. But Leo does not pay much attention to what Shelby says and leaves after giving his orders. Here, when Shelby tells Ken that the company will not include him in this race because of his bad image, he feels very bad. Put wedges in the suspension. You're not coming next week. He worked day and night to make this car race-worthy, and now he will not participate in this race. The next day, the race begins, and Ken starts listening to the commentary of the race. Ford had dropped 3 of his cars in this race. Now, for the first few hours, the cars performed well, but then what Ken said happened. The gearboxes of the cars were jammed and their engines overheated, and in the next few hours, all 3 cars of Ford were out of the race. After losing the race, Henry Ford called Shelby to his office and told him to give me a reason why I should not fire you and the rest of the people from this company. Give me one reason why I don't fire everyone. On this, Shelby tells him that although we have lost this race, this is the first time in the history of Le Mans that a car has touched the speed of 320 kilometers per hour, and that car was Ford's, and it is enough to scare Enzo Ferrari very much today. Enzo Ferrari now knows that until Ford wins Le Mans, he will not sit quietly. Now, hearing these words from Shelby, Henry Ford also agrees and decides to give Shelby another chance. After this, he comes to Ken's house and asks him to work with him again. But now Shelby says something else that makes Ken punch him, and a friendly fight begins between the two. These two keep fighting for a long time and get tired and lie down there. Here, Shelby asks him to work with him, and the next day, Ken spends many hours testing the car and tries his best to make it fast and light. Although he changed the engine of the car, the weight of the car was still heavy, which was stopping the car from going to top speed. In addition, the car's brakes were not so advanced that they could bear the braking done at 320 kilometers per hour. Here, Shelby's team pays attention to everything Ken says, and according to him, they are busy making the car better. One night, Shelby gets a call from Lee, and he tells him that Henry Ford has made Leo the head of the racing department, and tomorrow Leo is going to come to see the car with Henry Ford. He says that Leo does not like Ken at all, and he can go to any extent to get him out of the team. The next day, Henry Ford comes to see his race car. Shelby welcomes him and tells him about the car. Then Leo tells Shelby that, "I want to talk to you alone." On this, Shelby also agrees and comes to his cabin with Leo. But before Leo says anything, Shelby locks him in the cabin and goes away from there. "Open the door. Hey, open the door." He comes to Henry Ford and takes him on a car test drive. He drives the car at full speed, and Henry Ford also starts crying, seeing the performance of the car. And now he realizes that driving a race car is not an easy task for anyone. Here, Shelby tells him that there is no one better than Ken Miles to drive this car. But here, Henry Ford also does not agree with him. On this, Shelby tells him to let Ken drive this car in the upcoming Daytona race next week, and if he wins that race, then Ken Miles will drive Ford's car in the upcoming Le Mans race. A few days pass, and the day of the Daytona race comes. This race also runs for 24 hours. In this race, 2 teams of Ford participated. The first team was of Carroll Shelby, and the second team was of Leo. However, in this race, Leo's team was ahead of Shelby's team because Ken was driving the car below 6,000 revolutions per minute because his team was afraid that he would lose his control. Only a few hours are left, and now Shelby realizes that if Ken does not increase the speed of the car, then he will lose this race. So he immediately makes a board of 7,000 revolutions per minute and shows it to Ken. Now when Ken sees this, he starts driving his car at 7,000 revolutions per minute. Although doing this could have been bad for him, for now, he does not see anything. Soon, Ken overtakes Ford's other driver and wins this race by a long margin. Now, according to the deal, Ken Miles was going to participate in the Le Mans race. Here, Henry Ford was also given the news of victory, and he was also very happy with Ford's victory. Days passed by, and finally, the day came that everyone was waiting for. June 18th, 1966, and now only a few minutes were left. In this race, Ford's 3 cars and Ferrari's 2 cars participated. According to the rules, all the racers stood in line and waited for the final call. And right when it was 4 o'clock on the clock, the race was started. Although the start of the race was not very good for Ken, Ken's car door was not fully closed, due to which he could not focus on the race. He somehow completed a lap and reached his pit. Lap means a full round of this track, and pit means the place where the driver's team works to change the fuel and parts in the car. Ken shouts at his team and asks them to fix the door. And here a member of the team hits a hammer on the door and fixes it. Now that Ken's car was fixed, he drove it at full speed, and soon he made the record of passing a lap in the shortest time. Everyone was very happy to see this performance of Ken, except Leo. After driving the car for several hours, Ken stops at his pit. He eats something and relaxes his body. That is when it is announced on the commentary that one of Ferrari's cars is out of the race due to an accident. It was getting dark, and it started raining heavily on the track. It was very difficult to drive the car at high speed in this heavy rain. But Ken kept going. There was a tight turn in the road between Ken and Ferrari's racer, and Ken would have left Ferrari behind. But here, his luck betrayed him again. His car's brakes were completely worn, and he could have failed at any time. So Ken slowed down his car and brought it to his pit. Right when the car reached the pit, Shelby's team took out its old brakes and started putting new brakes on it. Now, when Ferrari's team saw this, they started opposing it. Soon, a member of the race committee came to Shelby and told him that changing the parts of the car during the race is against the rules. Hearing this, Ken got angry and said that if there is such a rule, then show where it is written. Actually, there was no such rule in this race. It was just Ferrari's trick so that Ford's car would be left behind in the race. Anyway, Shelby's team changed the brakes and Ken also left with the car. The next day of the race started and Ferrari was still in the lead. Ken was trying to overtake Ferrari, but Ferrari's driver was stopping him. Here, Ken took a risk again and started driving his car above 7,000 revolutions per minute. And right when he did this, he got very close to Ferrari. Now, when Ferrari's racer saw this, he also decided to drive his car above 7,000 revolutions per minute. But right when he did this, his car's engine failed and his car got off the track. Now Ferrari's 2 cars were out of the race, and now they cannot win this race. Here, Ford's 3 cars were leading, and Ken Miles was leading. This means that Ford's victory was confirmed in 1964 Le Mans. Now, when Henry Ford got this news, he was also very happy because he took his revenge on Ferrari. Now, everything was going fine, but then Leo comes to Henry Ford and gives him a suggestion. He says that if Ford's 3 cars cross the line together, it will be a great moment. But for this, Ken has to slow down because he is ahead of both the drivers. Now, Henry Ford also liked this idea, and he also gave his permission. Now, right when he got the permission, Leo quickly goes to Shelby and tells him everything. Now, Shelby gets very angry after hearing Leo's words, and he says to Leo that, "I will not ask Ken to do this because if he does this, this race will be tied when he deserves to win this race." After this, when Ken comes to the pit, Shelby tells him everything and leaves the final decision in his hands. In the last round of the race, Shelby drives the car so fast that he breaks his own record. But finally, he slows down and crosses the finish line. Now here, Ken thought that this race has been tied, but it was not. The winner of this race was Ford's second driver, whose name was Bruce McLaren. Actually, McLaren started this race a few meters before Ken, and according to the rules, the winner of this race was Bruce McLaren. When Shelby found out about this, he was very angry with Leo. Actually, Leo already knew this. Although Ken felt bad after losing the race, he did not say anything to Shelby. Instead, he thanked Shelby because Shelby gave him a chance to take part in this race. Ken tells Shelby that even if we lost this year, we will be the next Le Mans champion. A few months passed, and one day, when Ken was testing the car, his car's brakes failed, and he met with an accident. And in this accident, Ken died. At the end of the movie, we were told that Ken was honored with a Hall of Fame, and Ford won the Le Mans race for 4 straight years. And with this great movie came to an end. I hope you liked this story. If you liked the video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I will see you soon with another new and amazing video.